What's going on, people? It's Mr. Door back again with the review show. I hope everyone's fit and well. And yes, I'm not expecting this. We didn't lose. We didn't lose, people. People in the comments, please be honest. I'm going to tell the comments well, but I know Stephen wanted the Forest losing. People in the comments, did you think Forest would have lost yesterday? I put my hands up. I thought I did. If you did, put in the comments, people, because I thought when I saw the lineup, I thought it's going to be another Man U when we beat his A1, but it didn't happen, people. So I'm excited about this. It's a fantastic point for Nottingham Forest against the champions of Man City. So people in the comments, how are you feeling about a fantastic draw? We're going to talk about the game. Before we do a massive favour for me. Please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new on the road to 12k, and comment below, people, how are you feeling about yesterday's game. Right, let's introduce the panel. First of all, let's start with the YouTuber, man like Rads. How you feeling, Rads?
Good door, very good after yesterday in particular. It feels like we won, doesn't it, really? But yeah, very good, thank you.
And as you know, everyone knows he is. I don't need to introduce him. Rads has got a YouTube channel. Make sure everyone goes subscribe to his channel. His link is in the description, so people go and watch his vlog as well. And it was funny, I was saying to Rads, his title is like reversed. So it's not like the same title. It's just like, people understand. If you do want to, please go and watch the vlog after the stream, because it is. I had a little joke with him. So yeah, go and watch his vlog, please. Next door, we've got the Welsh Wizard. And he went to the Forest game yesterday, Steve. What was it like, Steve?
Oh, what an atmosphere. What a day. Yeah, we'll get to it. But yeah, I'll give my opinions on it. But great day, Ben. Good to catch up with you a lot. I seen Rads. I've been to Rads. Didn't see Matt, but did you go to the game, Matt?
Yeah. I'm always there. I just avoid you, you know.
Yeah. You can probably smell me coming in. But yeah, it was a great day, Ben.
There's only one Welshman we need.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we've got the man himself, Matt, the Rough Gallery guy that everyone talks about. How you feeling, Matt?
Yeah, very happy. A little bit disappointed with the boxing last night, but you know, it was always going to be a hard day. And overall, they all did us proud. I think the respective combatants. So very happy. I mean, like you say, it's like a win, isn't it? It's a bonus point. You've got to take it as that, and it's brilliant that we're getting these kind of results.
100%. And that's the thing. Like I said, it's weird. We're drawing against the champions of England, and like I said, we'll talk about it later on. But before we do talk about it, we'll just go through the comments as well. Longhead Hedy says, "What a game, you Reds! Big up, Mr. Dorse." Shout out to Longhead, and he's a member as well. So if you do want to be a member, people, please hit the $sign. It's cost like $1.99. You can see the vlog early, as I do on Sunday 10 o'clock. So if you want to be a member, you get more perks to my channel as well. Kaden says, "What's going on, Mr. Door? You're 1 minute early. You're having a drink." Luke said, I don't drink, people. I don't drink. So the evening, Reds. How you doing? Sebastian, hi everyone. Another Welshman. He's the number two. He's the number two.
I don't too many of these.
I tell you what, like Martin Price, he got the result right. So shout out to Martin Price. He got the result right. He said 1-1. So shout out to Martin Price as well. People in the comments, give some Martin some love for that.
Ben, as soon as I picked him up yesterday, he got straight in the car and he said it'll be a draw today.
Did he say that as well?
Yeah, straight away.
Oh,
yeah.
But with all these things, if he put his mortgage on it, then it counts. If you don't, it's just talk, isn't it? It's just like, it's like the clock being right once a day. If they put their mortgage on it, fair play to them.
Oh, so, shout out to Martin. He did get the prediction right as well. Sebastian said, another day, those 6 chances would have gone in. That's something we'll talk about later on as well. Huff says, you Rads. Is that what? You Rads? Not you. Oh, bloody hell.
Brilliant comment.
People show some love to Rads, man. People, not just Rads, Steve and Max, Rough Gallery dude.
I'm all right.
He's all right. Matt's all right. Paul says, even though I do think I've ever seen a draw celebrating so wildly. Like I said, everyone expected a defeat. But like I said, we'll talk about the game. Last but not least, good evening, Dom, Steve, Matt, and Reds. Hope you're well. Love seeing you and Rads yesterday. Love seeing me to Steve as well. Plus, you get some love as well. He gets some love as well, Steve does. Well, I'm going to go for comment. Anyone can see. This is Kel, evening, Dom, Matt, Rads, and Steve as well. Another legend here. Evening, guys. What result yesterday felt like a win? This is Raz Daz, the better one. Another better one as well. This is from, I got a super chat. What's this? 25k. What's this? Is this Welsh, Stephen, or Norwegian? I don't know
Norwegian, yeah.
Is it Norwegian?
Someone to do with Haaland, is it?
That's Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland's uncle or something like that. They've got all the money, haven't they?
People in the comments, I ain't got a clue, but thank you for the 25 pence or sterling.
It could be anything.
You need to find out what NOK stands for.
People in the comments, what is it? I ain't got a clue.
Kroner, isn't it?
Is it Kroner? I
don't know what it's worth, though.
Ali, thank you very much for the donation. I'm much appreciated for that. And yeah, you Reds, thank you for that. That good.
Is it?
Is it Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Is it Ollie? Like, it could be.
It must be Ole. It must be Ole.
Because you mentioned that 7 whatever it was defeat. That's it.
He said it's Norwegian krona. So what's that in English?
That's what I said, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think that's all he's interested in. He's money obsessed. Just keep them, enjoy them. It's like a Bitcoin. It could be worth anything.
Ole, what's it, Steve?
0.0. It's 0.081 to the pound sterling. Norwegian krone.
0.0.
That is like £2 then. So yeah, don't get it's like $1.99 or something.
Listen to me. That £2 will get me a.
Don't even mention it. Don't even mention it. We know what you're thinking of. Don't say what you're going to spend it on.
Right. Ole, much like I said, thank you for the 25 Norwegian krone.
And it's £2 2p. It is.
I'll take that.
There you go. I said $1.99.
Right. People in the comments, like, how do you feel about yesterday's game? I'm going to start with. Let me start with Rads. And I think I spoke. We spoke. Me and Steve spoke. We saw when me and Steve saw this line up. We thought we'd get hammered. Rads.
Why?
How did you feel? How did you feel when you saw the lineup? The Man City lineup.
Well, I think going into it, everyone thought there's a good chance we're probably going to get beaten, probably quite heavily. But I was kind of optimistic just because of how good we've been at home this season. I mean, but that was me being very, very, very biased, thinking, you know what, we could maybe get something here. But then most of me was just thinking it's only a matter of time before City score like a couple of goals. And, they could have easily have done that the way they played, with the amount of chances they were having, but they just weren't taking them. A lot of star players for them weren't performing as you'd expect. It was a good from them, but we held our own, I thought, for the whole game. And the more chances they kept missing, the more confident we got, it seemed. And a few tactical changes here and there, it just it really allowed us to compete with them. And just to compete with the champions of England and potentially going to win the Premier League for a third season in a row and get a draw with them is huge. This is what feels to us like a win. Obviously, it's not, but to get anything when everyone thought we were probably going to lose is yet another sign of how far we've come with Steve Cooper. And I thought we were going to lose. I think everyone probably thought we were going to lose, or it wouldn't be a win. But it was unbelievable, really, to see us getting it from that, more than deserved, and just to see us score a goal that Man City would be proud of against Man City was pretty apt, really. It's amazing to see when you look at it from start to finish. And I think I've been one of those that's criticised Chris Wood. Fair play to him for getting the goal. I hope he keeps it up.
Right, you know what? Right, let me say something before I get Matt. People in the comments, and be honest, did you criticise Chris Wood? I'm not going to get at you. I'm not going to say like, because I know there's loads of people who are criticising him, but I said on my Twitter on a Friday, judge him to the end of the season. And now look what he did. That point could keep us up. Matt, what did you thought that what was you feeling before the game when you saw the Man City lineup and all that?
I like the team. I think it's exactly the right team for the game. the insurance policy in the defence was dead right with Colback, Foyler, Shelvey. It worked perfectly. You know, all the midfielders were chasing shadows, but I thought they played really well. Of course, they had chances, but in each case, I felt like we dealt with them. It wasn't like they totally missed them. I mean, okay, they did miss a couple, but a lot of them, we responded to them quickly. And the goal was kind of out of nothing. It wasn't one of the chances. It wasn't a chance at all. But of course, they produced something exceptional. And they couldn't have done that at any point, and they did it once. The big thing I think to say is we've got a 12th man at home, haven't we? I mean, we're playing with an extra player at home, and good job we are, because it's the only thing that's going to keep us in the league. And we're a formidable outfit at home. We're one of the best in the country, aren't we? Really, our home record's outstanding, and it's a lot of that goes down to the support and the atmosphere. The Chris Wood thing, though, I mean, look, every player touched the ball in that move. And I think every single player was just as relevant as Chris Wood. You know, but having said that, him scoring is important because he's not a bad player. Like we said the last time, he's done enough. He can retire tomorrow, and he's done enough. Yeah. Should we have paid £19 million for 18 months plus wages? So you're talking about £250,000 plus another. You're talking about £350,000, £400,000 a week, including the summer holidays, for a player will have no resale value. And a 3-game...
Yeah, but
it's insane. It's insane. You can get any player in the world for that. Any player in the world for that. That is insane. And I don't blame him. I'd have done it for that as well. Anyone would. I don't blame him. But whoever gave him that contract, of course, yeah. But he's going to have to score a lot. He's going to have to perform like the best player in the world to justify that money. He won't. But that's fine. It's not his fault. He just took the money that was given to him by some stupid person who's got no idea what they're doing. But it's brilliant he scored, and everyone contributed, and I'm really pleased it was him probably out of all of them that got the final touch. But they all touched the ball, and they all did well. And there's the Brennan Johnson and Gibbs White bit was the clever bit, and then he was there to finish it, luckily. So well, not luckily, fair play. Equally fair play to everyone. But it's not like you forget about the first 3 games or think that suddenly he's a world beater because he kicked the ball in the goal, like
well, man, be happy, man.
Yeah, but I am happy. I am happy. But you can't ever justify the money unless he plays like Messi and does score 2 goals a game, or Alan Shearer reborn or something. If he's like Alan Shearer, fair enough. Otherwise, it's a bad deal, and it's money-wise, it's a bad deal, isn't it? You can never justify that. You can never justify the money. I hope he does really well. He's playing for us, and you want every single player in that squad to do the best they can do. And even if it's the player we think's the least capable at the moment ends up being, the star of the show, fine. It doesn't matter. They're all in it together. But the business side of it's crazy. It's insane, isn't it? No one can say that's a good idea. Okay. Getting someone where it triggers it after three games, and then he only signs a 1-year contract.
I know. I get it.
Reasonably old. There's no resale, and you're spending, like I say, nearly $400,000 a week. It's a lot of money.
I know it's a lot of money, but but let me reply to your what you said trying to say, and I'll make it try and short and sweet. I get what you're trying to say about Chris Wood, but remember he did the same thing with Newcastle. Newcastle brought him. Newcastle fans went mad at him. Newcastle fans went mad at the board, thinking why he brought him, blah blah blah. But he kept him up. So
okay.
Let me finish. If Chris Wood scores a few more goals and Forest stay up, would you be happy with it?
Well, if we stay up, everything becomes less of an issue. But it's still an insane amount of money to pay for almost any player, isn't it? If we're paying you think we were getting really upset. Can we afford Jesse Lingard for 100 or whatever it is, 80, 120? You're talking 3 times the amount here. 3 times the amount. And that's an England international. That's reality. That is what you have to pay. But to pay effectively nearly 400,000, and it's bad. It's just crazy. I think the actual signing's crazy, and then it's brilliant that he scored a goal. brilliant, and I wish him every success, and I hope he does exactly what you've just said and scores a number more goals. But we don't play that way particularly. And in the first 3 games, he did absolutely nothing, did he? Really? And I he didn't even know that half the players in his team.
Matt, let's keep it short, right? How many players, right? I can mention, right? What's the player's name? The Scottish guy. Is it Boyd? Chris
Boyd. Yeah, he did well. He came in. Yeah.
Yeah, he came. Chris Boyd, useless for the first 3 or 4 games, and it slowly started. So you got to give the guy a little bit of.
No, I do. Look, he's a good player. But is he worth 400,000 a week?
Right. Okay. Right. Let's wait. Wait.
Well, look. Even if it was just for this season, look, we're paying 4 million for sort of 6 months or whatever it is for the rest of the 5. We're paying $1 million. That's fine. But to have that extra year, we could be in the Championship. We could be. It's insane amount of money. It's a terrible deal, isn't it? I don't care what anyone says. It's a terrible deal. You can't argue with that, can you?
I'm not arguing. No. I'm not trying to argue. I'm just saying it.
I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him. He was put in too soon, and it's a crazy transfer fee.
Right. Let me talk, Matt. Right. For short term, I'm gonna get Stephen's opinion about this. For short term, I get what you're trying to say. Like 400, whatever month it is what it is. But this season is our aim to stay up. This season is to stay up in this league. The goal that I scored yesterday is a point. And if Forest stay up for a point, are you not going to make it? One for Forest. I know you're saying it's not Chris Wood's fault for not doing getting score some money what you're getting, but so basically you're trying to say
look, if he was Stan Collymore and that's the way you play and you put your whole team around him and he's the only card you've got and he actually has to cost that much money, sure. But if he's like Chris Wood, he's a good player, but is he worth that much money? If you've got, let's a hell of a lot of money. It's insane. It's insane that we could even be in the Championship. It is insane. You can't argue with that. The transfer fee is absolute insanity.
Let me. People in the comments. Do you agree with Matt? Yes or no? Do you agree with Matt? Yes or no? I get what he means. I understand what he means, but I'm saying, for me personally, coming on for the last 15 minutes, was the right decision, but we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know what's going to happen. This goal might be.
Of course we don't. Of course we don't know.
We don't know. But
if you had the choice, of Antonio, let's say, just plucking a name out of the air, who you could have got for effectively nothing, and you could have just paid his wages, he'd be happy with 100. You could get half a team of Michail Antonio type players. I would think an Antonio is just as likely to do something as a Wood, maybe a bit more likely.
So you would
what I mean? I'm only complaining about the money side.
So you would have preferred Antonio than to Wood.
I'm not saying that necessarily, but at a quarter of the price, yeah.
Okay.
For 6 months.
Right. Let's stop there.
Because Antonio. You tell me any player in our squad that couldn't have scored that goal yesterday. You don't have to pay 400 grand for that. If he'd run the length of the pitch and gone round the sides and gone and scored it, fair enough. If he was Stan Collymore, fair enough.
We'll see how we'll see how it. Like I said on my tweet on a Friday, we'll see how Chris Wood is at the end of the season.
If you're basing it all basing it on the reality of of putting the ball in the net from about 3 yards, if that's worth near 400,000 quid a week, we're underpaying the rest of the team, aren't we? We should be paying them all 500,000. If that's all you need to do to justify it. I mean,
let's change. Let's change the subject. I know we could, but we're changing to a different subject. But I can see people's comments. Steve looks baffled. Raz looks baffled. I look baffled. What Matt's saying, but it's Matt's opinion. That's all it is. It's Matt's opinion.
What's baffling? What's baffling about it?
But we're talking about yesterday's game. Let's talk about yesterday's game.
Well, the question was, what was the question? I thought you said, wasn't it great he scored a goal?
No. I'm just saying, was it how important it was to score his goals today? That's what I said.
Oh, it's a brilliant.
I wasn't talking about his contract. I wasn't talking about his contract.
Can I jump in?
Okay. Well, there you go.
Let's Steve jump in.
Can I
Let everyone talk, Matt.
I'm gonna defend Chris Wood here, right? If you rewatch the goal back, right, and I disagree on Matt the one thing about scoring from 3 yards out. The run he makes off, right? He gets the ball, he plays it off. He makes a run at the back post, and AU drags in the 2 players, and Chris Wood runs behind. Yeah, he scored from 3 yards out, but that was a striker's goal. He knew exactly where to go. The ball played across from Gibbs White. He's there. He has to be there to score. I have to defend Chris Wood on that. It doesn't matter if he scored from 3 yards to 30 yards. You have to be there.
Look. I'm not denigrating that, but are you seriously saying that's that kind of 400 grand? He's done 1 touch in 4 games.
To me,
is that worth all that money? 3 times more than anyone else in the squad.
He's played 4 games. He's played 4 games.
Right.
I know.
Right,
Matt, let's Steve talk. Matt, let's Steve talk. Come on.
If that goal, like Ben says, keeps us up, how much money will that make us? Staying in the Premier League. You make your money back straight away.
So what? Yeah, but look, we've got 2 goalkeepers.
2 seconds,
Matt, let Steve talk. Steve talk. Come on.
The thing with Chris Wood, I don't care. It's not my money, what money they spend. It's their money. That's the account's problem.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
With the money he's earning, it's down to him to show us he deserves it then. That's down to the player. We, as his fans, are quick enough to jump on him now. If he doesn't produce the goods, we'd be straight on his back. You don't deserve the wage. If he scores the goals to keep us up, I don't care if he earns £1 million a week or £10 a week. I don't care what Chris Wood earns. To me, every footballer earns stupid money now anyway. 50 grand a week is stupid money. So letting alone 400 grand a week, we can't comprehend the money these boys are on. So for me, Chris Wood, as long as he produces the goods like he did yesterday, from scoring from 3 yards out or from outside the box, I don't care. Keep us up. We'll make the money. We'll get the money back from staying in the Premier League. With all what it comes with the sponsor deals, the TV rights, all that kind of thing. So for me, he has to show us though he deserves that kind of money. End of the day, like you said, I agree with you, Matt. It's not his fault. You're not going to turn down a contract that big, are you? You know, but
no, of course not.
He's got to be.
That's the point. That's the whole point.
No, absolutely. I know, but you just said exactly the right thing. You said, "Oh, we're going to jump down his throat when he doesn't justify it." So inevitably, he's not going to justify it, really, is it? Unless he scores 20 goals. But he shouldn't need to. It's a ridiculous contract. There should never have been the 1 year at 15 million extra. That is insane. If it was just a loan, I could understand it. Okay, if you just take the loan, that's expensive. But look, we've got 2 goalkeepers for 300 grand. Either one of them was a lot of money, wasn't it? You know what I mean? And you say, oh, yeah, he scored the goal. Navas saved a couple as well, didn't he?
Well, right.
It's a team game, you know. If he's worth that, we're going to spend about $1 billion a week, aren't we? Sort of thing. It's just madness.
Right.
And it's nothing to do with him. It's no reflection on him. He's had three really poor games, hasn't he? However you look at it, and he scored a vital goal. And strikers score vital goals. Well done. He's totally justified his 20 minutes. Absolutely. Give him that 100%.
I was so happy.
And hopefully he'll just be good next time.
Because I was pitch level. I seen him when he came on, right? And he looked like a man possessed. He absolutely smashed into, I can't remember what defender it was. Laporte, I think.
Laporte.
He smashed into him. He won the first header. I could see by his face. It was almost like he wanted to prove us wrong as fans. And I'm hoping that riles him up. I'm hoping that pumps him up. I'm not saying the negativity he should get it, but sometimes you can take something from it that makes you pump yourself up and get in them positions and win them headers.
Forget his fee for a second. When he arrived, he should never have been chucked into that first game.
No.
Should he?
No,
he should never have been. Just the football. We signed Trevor Francis, the best player in the world, for £1 million. What did Cloughie do? He didn't. He played him in the reserves for a few weeks, didn't he? That's the right way to do it, really. You don't stick him straight in, especially.
Right. Right. Raj, what do you think, Raj? Before we get in the subject, Raj has stood there. Steve's opinion. Matt's going off. I'm sat there like this. Like, what's going on here? Raj, what do you think, Raj?
I just want to apologise for even mentioning Chris Wood. We
can't mention him. Give him the credit.
Well, I don't know how to start after all this. Right.
What are you doing to us, Matt? What are you doing to us?
I agree with what Matt's saying.
It's the money.
Right, Matt, stop! Let Raj talk. Come on.
I agree that it's an expensive contract from 3 on. You know, it's a 1-year deal to permanently sign after a loan, and the 3-game clause. I personally don't think it makes sense. But if he does well, ultimately, I think that's all Forest fans are going to really be bothered about if he's scoring the goals and performing. But I do agree that the contract is a very expensive contract, you know, with all the logistics of it. You know, after 3 games, you sign permanently, and then the 15 million buy option, and then what he's on a week seemingly. You know, I do agree with that. But personally, I think what most fans would say is if he does well on the pitch, that's all they're really going to care about. So whether that means that he's going to be worth 15 million or not, I don't know. But, you know, if he scores the goals to keep us in the league, then that's what matters. But I definitely agree with what Matt's saying about the fact that it's expensive.
That is pie in the sky. You could say Harry Toffolo is going to score 4 vital goals. I mean, look at it. Last season, we got promoted, and you can't honestly there's so many players you could say, if that player didn't do that, if that player didn't do that, virtually every player in the squad contributed. We just got over the line. So even if you said a player we had on loan that did well for 2 or 3 games or something, if you took one of them out, you could say that would meant we failed. Just like the previous year, Muric came in and cost us a playoff place in the first game by being cobblers in that first game. It's a team effort. And at the end of the day, they all contribute. And if Chris Wood scores 20 goals, it won't be because he did it by himself. It'll be a part of the whole team, just like yesterday. Every single player touched the ball. That's a perfect example, really. And he finished it, and it's brilliant he finished it, and it's really important for him he finished it. And fair play to him, he did well, and everyone else did well.
All right,
but
Matt,
let's
make it quick. Let's make it quick because we're half an hour now. Make it quick. Make it quick.
If Sam, right, okay, quick question, Matt. If Samba had been offered triple wage or quadruple wage where he was on a Forest and stayed, would you have been happy with that, Samba?
What do you mean? He didn't need
Say, for example, Forest offered him 200 grand a week to stay at Forest. Samba, you were a big fan of. Would you have said that's justified, or would you not been happy with that either? If Samba had stayed,
well, it doesn't. Whatever he's worth, you know. I don't really understand the question. Samba, I'm on about the contracts and this mentality about money being floated around, like you said about Lingard, what he's on. At the end of the day, you've got to justify. If Samba had stayed and we had offered him quadruple what he was on, we'd all been, yay, Samba's staying, and he would have done the job. I mean, you've got to do the job to justify your wage. I don't get it. That my point is, listen. Let me just make it simple. We're playing one player. We're not paying him. One player is costing us potentially. It's not 3 times as much, but it's a hell of a lot of money. He's the most expensive player in the squad, basically. It's no resale value. So short-term thing that we didn't need to do, really. I mean, you say, well, we might have needed to do because Newcastle wouldn't have let us have him on loan. That's the only reason. But if he's the best player in the team, he's worth the money. Yeah. You know, that's the way it goes. But he's very expensive. That's all I'm saying.
Right, well, let's move on. Let's move on because we've talked this topic about 25 minutes, and there's loads of comments about people agreeing with Matt, people disagreeing about. I get it, Matt. With The money's on. But as a Forest fan, if it scores goals, we stay up. That's
well, it's costing more than Morgan Gibbs White.
I don't care, Matt. That's what I don't care. People, if like, let's make it short sweet. If Chris Wood gets the goals for Forest, I don't care about the money. Don't care. It's not my money.
See, people saying, "Are you paying it?" They're kind of stupid because
right. Okay. Right.
Let's change subject.
Let's change subject. Right. I've lost now. People in the comments, like, please hit the like button, subscribe if you know. Probably half an hour's gone away there. We still got loads to talk about. First, let's see. Let's talk about the first half, man. Like Man City had the ball, the loads of ball, but we've got to praise the team, especially the midfield with Rima Fuller, Matt's favourite Jack Colback as well. You've got we played well, didn't we? First off, I know Matt had most of the ball, Steve, but we did play all right, didn't we?
Yeah, with Steve Cooper, you find there's a lot of games where a story pans out. His game planning is second to none in some games. And there was a picture of him in the week. He went to scout the game, didn't he? Or last week against the Villa, was it? He was watching the game, Man City game. It's just the way that game panned out. And he said afterwards that he told the boys half time to stay in the game. And as that game went on, 80th minute, I turned around and said to my wife and Caitlin, I said, we're still in this. Something could happen here. When Alan missed that triple chance, hit the bar, skied it, I thought, you know what, something could happen here. And we just dug in. Shelby started throwing his weight around Colback. I agree with Matt. The three of them, Freuler, Colback and Shelby, really got stuck in. Aurier got stuck in a Grealish. Grealish is the most petulant footballer I've ever seen live. He just, do you know what? He's the most abuse I've ever thrown at a footballer at the City ground. He was doing my head in. Oh, he was getting really animated. He was just, he was naffing me off. But yeah.
Would you have him in the Forest squad?
No. He's just, he spends more time on the floor. Just stay on your feet. Beat the man. Skin him. Why do you have to go down so easy? But Grealish is another story. But for them, like the first half hour, I've never seen. To be fair, they blew me away. The football they were playing. Like did you three go to the Man City away game at their place? So you may have had a head start, watching them live over me. But watching them yesterday, that first half hour, I thought this could be a cricket score here. But the longer it went on, I know Silva then put a top corner. But yeah, the Silva, what a player he is. Bernardo Silva. What one of the best players I've ever seen live. Foden as well. I agree. You told me before the game, Ben, didn't you, about Foden's movement. I've never seen a player to find so much space. Unbelievable. But even though they were looking really threatening, I thought, do you know what? We could have a chance here. And you know what? Match of the day should be ashamed of themselves because these pundits, they do them now. If Man City had scored that goal against us, they would have replayed it. 20 passes we had against them. And like Matt said, every player touched the ball. And we scored. And no mention of that on match of the day. In fact, they spent more time laughing at our heat map than showing the goal. And I just so glad we had that late goal. And I thought we could nick this now. And if we had won that 2-1, if there was a roof on the City ground, it would have blown off because I haven't heard a noise like that since the closest I've heard a noise like that was when Stuart Pearce walked out against Blackpool on his first game. That noise was loud. And when they actually give it after the VAR, I've dragged on a bit. But yeah, great game. Shouldn't have ever been that emotional. It should have been through reality, 3-1 or 4-1, what people are predicting. But yeah, great game, I thought. Really good. It flew by, which is good. It's a good sign for a football game.
I'm going to ask you, Matt. We're not going to talk about Chris Wood, Matt. We can talk about another player that's been given so much stick. Joe Worrell. I know he didn't play. His passing wasn't great yesterday, but he stood Holland's a beast. We know Holland's a beast, but I personally thought him and Philippi was all right. Matt, what was your opinion on him? This is not Chris Wood. It's Joe Worrell.
Well, cheap old Joe Worrell. Are we talking like the fantasy thing? How he's not up to Premier League standard? He's bang average Championship player, you know, or are we actually going to open our eyes and look at the reality of it, that he's doing fairly well in the Premier League rather. There's a huge narrative with him, and you know, he's a good player. He's the captain. He's the heart and soul of the club. I thought he played brilliantly yesterday. Yes, he put a couple of passes astray. We're playing Man City. You know, they're good. They're good. They're going to pick out a couple of passes. If you're just going to be passing the ball between yourselves at the back, you know, all day if you're not going to do anything. And you know, so he's a good player. And apparently the stats are he's one of the most effective playing long balls as well. So yes, he'll do some that don't work, but he'll do a lot that do work. Yeah, he's in the team now. And Felipe, in particular, was outstanding. He was clearly man of the match. He had Haaland totally under his spell, didn't he? He knew exactly how to deal with him. Yeah, I mean, but like I say, there's a narrative about it, and people just flip-flop. You know, someone kicks a ball in the goal, he's a hero. The day before, he's rubbish. Next day, they're putting up a statue for someone else. Yeah, that's the way it is. But the reality is somewhere in between that, and they're all decent footballers out there. And Joe Wall is one of the better ones in that squad, I think. So, yeah, and he played really well yesterday. And Felipe, who didn't cost much money, he was outstanding, and he was good against Fulham as well.
Rod, let's talk about Danilo. I can't say his name now.
Danilo.
I don't know I think he might have been too much from yesterday, but he did all right. But what was your opinion on him?
Yeah, I think he's quite clearly got talent. Maybe it's a case of him having to settle in to a new country, new league. He's obviously still a very young player, so I think he's one of those that we might see grow over time and develop. But as soon as he made his debut, I think we clearly see that he has huge potential. And I do agree at times he has struggled a little bit, but I've not been like looking at him thinking, get him off, he's not doing well enough here. And yeah, maybe Man City was too big of a test for him, but personally, I like him. I think he needs to be continuing to get a lot of game time to prove his worth and to develop. And, you know, time will tell whether he's going to be the right person for us in the midfield or not. I mean, we're blessed with options in midfield, which is, you know, something before this season, I thought we were quite thin in midfield. And to have the array of midfielders we've got now is a blessing, really. But he's certainly a very gifted player. You know, he makes it look very easy at times, but like we're saying, he definitely 100% can improve for sure. I wouldn't say he's the best player in the team or even the best midfielder, but he's got huge potential, tries his best every week. You know, I can't really fault him for his effort at the very least.
People, there's 106 people. If you can do a massive favor for me, please do hit the like button. I'm on 29 likes. Please get me to 50 likes or 75 likes. Please do. If you can, and subscribe to my channel and make sure everyone subscribe to Rad's as well. Today, let's talk about the Welsh guy, Brennan Johnson. Again, the word who said flip flop? I don't know who mentioned flip flop. Was it Matt? Flip flop. Everyone was flip flopping about.
Well, they do, don't they? Before yesterday, Wood was rubbish, absolute rubbish, and today he's worth the most expensive player.
Why have I just said Wood?
But that's it. No, but it's mad. It's madness. It's madness. You're living in cloud cuckoo land if you buy into that. You know, nothing's changed overnight. He's done what he should do.
No, look, well, let's talk about Brennan, because like I said, he's been given so much criticism again. I don't want to people be saying to me, "Oh, I know Brennan Johnson," blah blah blah. I'm just like, I'm seeing how good he was yesterday, and the way he set up the goal, the run he did, and not all the team, but Brennan was a top guy. Set up, he gave the ball, gave it to Morgan Gibbs. But again, he's getting better and better since the World Cup, after the World Cup, honestly.
Yeah, he's coming back, you know. Like we said many times before the World Cup, you know, some people sat on the fence of, is he thinking of the World Cup? Other people thinking, you know, this and that. And then after the World Cup, he came back. He tore Blackburn apart in the Cup. And then we thought, oh, here we go. Yesterday, though, Man City made a a little change in that second half. I found a bit strange. Silva went left back, and he sat further out, and Johnson terrorised him because even Silva, who for Man City was their best player, when he went to the left back, it was strange. Like because obviously I was sitting in that corner, I was down the touchline, and even like there was a few balls Chevy played down around the corner. Johnson just backed his pace, and Silva just didn't know which way he was going, and Laporte as well was being run ragged because like the only thing they did do a match a day, they did pick out the fault of Laporte and Silva, the way they got sucked in. Johnson, I felt sorry for Johnson the first half because was that chance he had, he was literally like surrounded by like 6 Man City players, and he looked around, there was no one with him. And he just like, I think it was like a pot shot, and he just like went out to the corner flag. But yeah, with Johnson, it again comes back to, do you play him down the right side or do you play him through the middle? For me, you've got to play him out wide because he just terrorizes left backs. And I think now he's finding his feet because I said very in the beginning of the season, he's going to find it tough against the best left backs, some of the best left backs in the world. And now I think he's finding his, do you know what? I'm not just saying it because they went Welsh internationals, but I think when Nico's on the field, I think him and Johnson link up because I was watching it again down that touchline. Nico looks for that run. It's like he almost knows Johnson is making that run. And when we reverted back to the back three, I think we did, or he went back three, didn't he? Yeah. Nico came on, and it just, the intensity came up, didn't it? When our subs came on, I don't know if we touched that later as well about the people who came on, but down that right side, Silva was just like, Johnson was tearing him. And I just say one thing about Johnson, perhaps you boys didn't see, he clattered into a kid in the crowd. It looked it did look quite painful. Basically, he was running full out. He tried to do a back heel and get off Silva for a corner, and he run full out. He turned and landed smack right on a kid. And you couldn't see Johnson, and they picked him up. The kid was bawling his eyes out, and I was like, "Oh, that must have been painful." And Johnson, I thought Johnson, he was on his back as well. His back must have hit the chair, the seat, and that would have been our luck as well. They just thought, he's going to get injured now after going flying into the crowd, and he'd be out for. But they look the way he got up. I don't know, Matt. You're nodding your head, then you must have seen it to do from where you sat.
Oh yeah, so I thought he was in about the third row. So I was, one kid and injured 3 others, did he, or something?
Oh, he went flying in.
Yeah, I saw him go fly, but
it did. It looked like he was in the third row. Like that.
You just see a pair of legs sticking up, a pair of boots sticking up like that. But yeah, Johnson. Thank God he's found his feet now, because I hated the criticism he's had at the beginning of the season. People just saying he's not good enough, and come on. This time last year, he was worth 40 million, wasn't he? Brentford were going to sign him for a stupid amount of money, and so that's my opinion on Johnson,
Rads, John Joe Somi making his home debut. What was your opinion on him?
He was a bit, I don't want to say that the dreaded word. It was when we signed him, we weren't sure about him. I personally wasn't. But he quickly turned my opinion.
Raz, just don't mention money. Matt's next to you, just say that.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's isn't it? It's like
we just stay away from that name and just Newcastle in general.
No, but it's just having a bit of perspective on it, though, isn't it? Surely it's like one kick of the football and you go from being rubbish to being brilliant. And Shelby, he's a good player. Whatever. Anyway, carry on.
I was going to say after this. I like Shelby. I think he could be a very useful player for us. His experience is clear to see. I didn't see like a huge amount of him at Fulham, but you saw when he came on, he made that impact. He shored things up for us. And like I say, when we signed him or we linked with him, I didn't quite get it, but quite quickly have been turned on it. And I've thought, this is actually a very smart bit of business for very little money. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. I think he's on like a 2-year contract, so we've got him for a while. Looking forward to seeing more of Shelby, to be honest.
Let me ask Matt about Navas, another I think, again, great saves in the second half. And again, another fantastic signing, Matt. What's your opinion on Navas? Do you think was it right to sign him? Yes or no?
Well, it depends how long Henderson's out for, doesn't it? I mean, it depends if you take it seriously, doesn't it? If Hendo's out for the end of the season, yes. But if we sign a guy and Hendo's back next week, and then we're going to pick Navas and piss off Henderson, and then we don't get Henderson and we don't get Navas, we're starting from scratch again, aren't we? So then it will be a bit of a mistake. But he's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's hardly he hasn't done anything wrong, has he? In the games he's played in, I don't think. He's basically done nothing wrong. He's been fantastic, and he's totally justified his fee so far. So in that respect, it's been a fantastic signing. When you have to pick between them, I don't know whether it's going to be next week or whether it's going to be a month or 2 months or whatever. If it's not for a while, then we definitely need to sign him. If Hennessy wasn't good enough for 3 games, well, and we're going to have to pay the rest of the season, it'd be a little bit expensive. But if we stay up, it'd be worth it. And he's probably almost justified his money already in what he's done if he only plays these 2 or 3 games and never plays a game, he's probably paid. He's saved us some points, so he's done his bit. But yeah, he's brilliant anyway. He's a good goalkeeper.
I've seen the comments. We mentioned loads of midfielders. This is from Paul. How much do we miss Yates? Long at Yeti says, missing Yates big time for me. Steve, do you think we miss Yates?
Well, yeah, I said last week, didn't I, in one of these videos, he'd be one of my first picks in the midfield, a fully fit Yates. But someone's mentioned that as well. We've got to give a shout to Mangala. I think Mangala came on yesterday. He held that ball up. He rode a couple of challenges. He didn't lose the ball. He didn't give the ball away. And I'm going to say something now. We just played Man City. We're probably on paper, which we all agree on. That first team are frightening. But you know what? Our subs, which Pep had only made 2 subs, showed the strength and depth we have. Man City didn't try to change it. He brought Alvarez on and Ake on, but he still had Mahrez and Palmer and then players on the bench. And for me, was that a bit of a lack of respect, maybe?
I thought it was.
Yeah, he didn't change. He changed nothing. He put Silva, like I said, Silva left back. He just kept on. It was almost like Pep was showing that other side of it where he was a bit of cocky or we just it'll just happen. But Cooper changed it like that. He went back 3. Mangala came on. Nico came on. AU. Got to give a shout out to AU because that someone mentioned on Twitter actually as well. I spotted it in this game and someone else has as well. He was key in that goal because if you watch that goal back, not just the linker play, when he makes that run into the box, he tracks 2 players into him and Walker gets sucked in as well, which leaves the back post free for Wood. So it just shows that this, people say we sign all these players, but it's just showing, not just with injuries, you need the squad to compete. And we just competed with Man City. And we just showed our boys come off the bench can change a game. And I'm glad we got that equaliser because for me, the longer the game got on, I just thought Man City not trying nothing new here. They're not. It's like Pep didn't have a plan B. Man City fans would probably know better than me because they watch them week in, week out. But yeah, it was really good to see Mangala's another player who's had a lot of criticism. It was good to see him come on and make an impact. Maybe these players are more impact players. Maybe they need a bit of time on the bench to come on and change a game. Perhaps we'll see the better of these players then. So, yeah. But come back to your main point about Yates. At the moment, where does he,
People in the comments, if you had a choice of Ryan Yates replacing someone, the midfield player, who would you swap? I'll put it in the comments and then we'll go through the comments in a minute.
I think he had that midfield spot on yesterday. Shelvey, Freuler, and Colback. 3 solid, no nonsense, in your face, get a foot in. Because when Shelvey cleared out Grealish and he stood over him, that's what we wanted. You want to see that. That's what Shelvey does. He's nasty. He takes players out. I don't care what Grealish is like. Get up off the floor. I know it was a foul, but that's what you them and Colback just before he must have run almost the full length of the pitch just to get a tackle in. Unbelievable work rate.
100%. Got 10 minutes to go. Bloody hell. This has been a great stream, people. If you can do a massive favor, please do hit the like button. We're going back to this. We mentioned the subs. All the substitutions were great. Should I mention that player to Matt, or is Matt going to give another 25 minutes of money again?
It's not money. It's reality or not. I just get very frustrated where people just such knee-jerk reactions to everything. Joe Walls, all these players have been absolute crap at some point, and then the next week we win a game and now they're all brilliant. And the fact is they were that bad and they're probably not quite as good now. It's just like keep a bit of perspective. It's so hysterical one way and the other. It's absolutely farcical to me.
Okay, Matt, do you think...
Maybe it's just being old. Maybe it's just being old that just makes you like this. Maybe it's calm down.
I think it's just your age, Matt. I don't know if Matt's the oldest.
I do fear that.
Is Matt older than Steve?
You put together.
No, Steve's older than you. No, Steve's definitely older than you. Steve's definitely older than you.
No, he's on the Grecian 2000. He's using that.
I don't want to say how long. Yeah. Okay, Matt, did Cooper get his? We all know. Did he get his subs right? Or
I thought yesterday tactically he would look. That was a big feather in his cap because I actually think Cooper's been a bit wacky this season. Some of his decisions have been a bit weird and wonderful quite often. I think I don't know whether everyone agrees with that, but I get it. No, I get what you mean. I've had doubts with him this year in some of the stuff he's done. I haven't seen the sense in it. Yesterday, I thought the Christmas tree thing was perfect. I think the choice of the experienced guys who ran their socks off but hardly touched the ball. They did, like you're saying about putting their feet in, they actually resisted that most of the time. They did, I know they kind of can, and I take your point, but they actually were very disciplined. And I think yesterday, the brilliant thing was it was a plan. Everyone worked hard. Everyone stuck to the plan. Danilo, okay, he was a little bit struggling with it, but the old heads really, really stuck to the plan. They all bought into it and they really knuckled down and everyone contributed. And like I say, the goal was fantastic. It just happened to turn out like that. But throughout the 90 minutes they did, and then going to the substitutes, they tended to all work. There was a few imposed ones, weren't there, with the left back and Jack was going to have to come off probably anyway, and probably the same for Shelvey. And then the two up front, I probably wouldn't have picked both of them, as you might kind of imagine. Not so much Wood, but they all worked, didn't they? It went perfectly to plan. And this is our Welsh guy up against the best manager that the world's ever known, apparently. So he had a good day. Fair play to Steve Cooper. I think he had a fantastic day out. And we rode our luck a little bit, but we had the crowd on our side. And we made everything we possibly could work for us. And it was just enough to get a draw. And that's how it was always going to be. Because they are, they're a different level, aren't they? They're three people warming up cost twice as much as all our teams.
Yeah.
So it's like, even when we're talking about crazy money, it's not crazy compared to Man City. But we're going to have to wait 10 years in the Premier League, and then maybe we'll have a crazy, crazy team like that.
No, we're top 4 next season. I said it first.
That's right. No, we can do, but we've got to be realistic because next season, if we stay up and we're sort of a third of the way up the table, people will start saying Cooper's not good enough to take us to the next level where we want to be, and they start getting crazy. We need to just calm down and stay in touch with reality and be patient.
Oh,
not flip-flop within one game where you can go from this way to that way. It's just nuts. Just try and calm down. And I thought this window was going to be dangerous because we can be reactionary and sign crazy players that don't make any sense. And we basically went out and bought a load of old guys this time. And it was a mixed bag. Some of them you think, they're overpriced, and some of them they're going to short term and they're going to be effective, like Shelvey and perhaps Felipe, possibly, particularly, and Navas as well. Those kind of guys, short term, highly effective. Yeah, so we'll see. But I just think generally we need more patience around the club. We've got a lot going for us at the moment. Don't screw it up by being daft.
Yeah, I think the worst guy, spot on, Matt Pricey. Why are you agreeing with Matt? Yeah. Just don't. I know you got the result yesterday, but don't agree with him. Don't agree with him.
I want to keep Cooper. Give him a 5-year deal or something.
Oh no! Why not? Why not? Give Cooper a 10-year deal. All the people that want Cooper out. No, I'm not going. I'm not. Rad's knows what I'm on about, but I'm not going that way. But yeah, people. There's 5 minutes to go. I'm gonna say everyone's man a match before we do go. Before we do, I want to ask Steve Steven. You know, yesterday's day, you was in a club shop yesterday. You was at a club shop yesterday, weren't you?
Yeah.
I got a message from someone. Someone just emailed me for you. I'll say, hello guys. A big shout out to Welsh Steve. Great to talk to you at the club shop yesterday. Lovely guy. Great point. I hope you enjoyed the game. Matt and Susan. Do you remember him?
Oh yeah. I was just looking at a random thing on the shelf, and they came over to me and they were like, "Yeah, we recognise that beard and that accent." yeah. They just approached me. Yeah, fair play, son.
They've just emailed me and say they love you to bits. So yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You can't see me blushing with this beard.
Oh, many days. People in the comments, who was your man of the match in yesterday's game? I think there's quite a lot of people that we can mention. So people get your comments in. Who was your man of the match? Let me start with you, Rads. Who was your man of the match and what was your team rating?
I mean, I think it's one of the. I'm not avoiding the question. I think it's just one of those games where everyone played a part. So there's a lot of options for this question, honestly. But I'd probably give it to one of Felipe or Navas, honestly. And I think, me included, people have said, "Oh, why we're signing a 33-year-old and a 37-year-old?" But I think they did show that age is a number when it comes to football. Like, it doesn't particularly matter, especially as a goalkeeper. You can keep going for quite some time. And, Navas has not looked at all like he's declining. He saved us against Leeds. He certainly saved us yesterday. Some vital saves, especially with how much City were bombarding us. So, personally, I give it to Navas. Yeah. The amount of chances that were stopped because of Navas. There was a few chances at the end after we'd equalised where we're under the cosh again. City were going right at us, and Navas again a few times single-handedly just cleared it from danger. So and Felipe, I think he did very well as well. Showed his class. Looked very assured. He'll be used to playing against teams like Man City, with the level he's been at all of his career, really. There's lots of names, honestly. It was a proper team performance, but I'd personally give it to Navas.
What's rated at 10?
For Navas? Or
the whole team?
I think at least an 8.5. Maybe. I'm going to 8.5. I think it was a really amazing... I mean, we could have been more attacking, but we were playing Man City. We had to go against our ways and keep it very compact and tight, and that's what we did. So I think it was more than deserved what we got. So I'd go for at least 8.5. It was a brilliant performance.
Before I get Matt's opinion, he's back again, Ollie, for another £2. How much is this? How much is this? £2.
That's gone up.
It's gone up now. No, it's the same one.
I think that'll be about £4, won't it? I think
that's £4.
Okay, £4.
£4, 4p. I'm going to London. I'm going to London Stadium next week. Will that get me a drink at Upton London Stadium? I know the London price.
No, I'll get you a 1p chew. It will get you there.
Ali, thank you again for the 25k.
Yeah.
Thank you for the £1. £1. What is it, Steve? £2, 2p.
Tell him it's a grand. A grand. Go out and buy a new computer.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? That'd be nice. But thank you very much, Ollie. And if you see me before the game, please come up to me. I want to come up. If you can, message me, email me, or Twitter or whatever, please, because I thank you for the cost as well. Matt, who's your man of the match and team rating?
Well, I think team 9 out of 10. I don't think you can do much better than that. I think. I thought to be perfectly honest, I thought it was like a film. Okay, it wasn't it wasn't a thriller, but it was a sort of dour, art film that was the art of killing football. The art of stopping a brilliant team, and every player played their role to perfection, near enough. So I think 9 out of 10 for sticking to the script. and doing a fantastic job. And really, you shouldn't pick any player out, but you have to pick Felipe out because he was absolutely outstanding. And purely for the psychological side of it, him and Joe, after getting that yellow card, which wasn't really justified because he was just competing for a loose ball, but defenders always get penalised for that. On a yellow card for like 70 minutes, those two did a fantastic job to not get in trouble and with cards, and also not get in trouble with that guy Haaland. They really dealt with him fantastic. But Felipe in particular was absolutely outstanding.
What was your rating? What was your rating for the team? Oh, 9 out of 10.
9 for the team. And for 11 for Felipe.
I'll take that.
He gets a callback star for attainment as well.
You know, before Matt, I think I saw make it so sweet, Matt. Jack Colback, you love him. I know I saw on social media about he deserves a contract, blah blah blah. Would you give him a contract? And that's a daft question for you, Matt. But people in the comments as well. Do you think Jack Colback should get a new contract? Because for me personally, he knows his role. He knows his role, just like Ryan Yates. But make it quick, Matt. New contract, yes or no?
I'll give Jack whatever he wanted, but I'm not sure he'd want another contract. But if he does, he'd be worth it because he's known how to play football since he was about 19 in the Premier League, and he won't be a diva and need to play every week, and you wouldn't even want him to, and he can just do his job when he's needed to shut down games for 20 minutes and stuff like that. And a quick one, his son went to the game yesterday, and you may have seen he had his picture taken afterwards with Haaland, and it was priceless. Haaland looked so pissed off with Jack's son having a picture. But anyway, that was a precious moment, I think.
Okay. Last but not least, Steve, who's your man of match and teammate?
Felipe obviously gets it, but I'm going to give a shout out to Lodi. I think Lodi was outstanding, only because again it's where you sit in the stadium, but because I don't go to many games live, I get to obviously study the game better than I do on TV. He was up against Walker and Foden, right? And the concentration he had to play in that first 30 minutes was just like the Alamo, just, bombardment. Just watching it, the guy, that's why he went off. He was knackered. Marking one of the quickest right backs, still at 35 or whatever Kyle Walker is, and Foden. And Lodi just stuck to his task. He did not put a foot wrong. He tried to get, when every ball, he tried to get flicks out. I know he's trying to flick it off of the attacker to get the throw in. Obviously Navas as well. That guy's just got an aura around him. You can tell he's played at the highest level. But for me, Felipe, yes, but Lodi, I got to give a shout to Lodi as well. That guy.
Would you sign Steve? Would you sign him? There's quite a lot of people saying sign him.
100%. He's worked his way to a contract, hasn't he? And I just hope though he doesn't fall into that category of when he gets a contract, we sign him, he gets comfortable. I just hope he continues that form and he plays. There's been too many players over the years we've signed after loan, and then we kind of think, should we really sign him? But I think this guy, he's nailed that left back position now, which at first we thought, is he good enough? Like we've discussed many times, but yeah. When he's just played against the best team, hasn't he? So he's proven it, and his concentration levels were outstanding. Yeah, so just watching him, unbelievable how he just stuck to the task. Because one quick point yesterday, in games like that, right, 1 second of split second lack of concentration is gone. It's gone. You've got to, and the more tired you get, the concentration goes. So, like with the goal, the downside of the goal was Grealish tracked in 2 or 3 players and is freed the space for Silva. That was the only lack of concentration we did in that first half. Other than the only disappointment of yesterday, I don't know if you three agree, was I felt in the first half we panicked on the ball and we just seemed to give the ball away quickly. And we just like, it's Man City. What are we going to do with it? And one thing I picked up in the first half, Shelby actually had a go at Navas because Shelby wanted it on the half turn and he wanted the ball at his feet. Navas didn't give it to him. And Shelby had a bit of a go at him. But that, that was the only downside for me. our players just didn't win again on the ball enough, and we just give the ball away too easy to Man City in the first half. But yeah, that was my opinion. Lodi for me. Felipe obviously gets it, but I got to give it a Lodi.
Okay. Lodi though, no one would have signed him in December. No one would have wanted to sign him. Now, if he carries on this form he's had since Christmas, he's player of the season, isn't he? He's playing every week and he's playing phenomenally well. He's potentially player of the season. So, fair play to him. The faith has paid off, isn't it?
100%.
But when you go back to Yates, it's like, who would you drop for Yates in the midfield? It's difficult. It's really difficult.
But it's a good problem, isn't it?
It is, and that is how it should be. But you've got to pick the guys on form and on merit. Yeah. And you're doing no one a favour keeping them in the team when they're not on form. You know, and when people aren't playing well, let them get out of the team. You're doing them a favour. There's someone else who then you can also help. And I feel like we don't nurture the whole squad enough sometimes. But anyway, there you go. Let's not start.
Right, it's been a good show. Thank you, Steve, Rads, and myself, Matt. Before we do go, like I said, Matt's got his own bit, Rads does his own bit. Before we do, we'll start with Rads. Like I said, if people know who Rads is. He's got a YouTube channel. I put the link in the title so people. Rads, have you got any content coming out this week?
Yeah, there's always stuff coming up. I'm going to try and do some more like big videos. I did one last week about Fawaz.
Oh, people go and watch that, please.
Yeah, it'll be a long time, so I appreciate that.
People go and watch it. If you can, after the stream, I put this link in the comments.
It is good.
It is really good. If you don't know about Fawaz, I really enjoyed it. So as well, Matt, you can watch it as well, Matt, because just making sure right there.
It was pretty depressing to research. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so people please go and watch that. And he's got his vlog as well, so people can watch that. Matt, have you got anything new coming up with your Rough Gallery? As people know, this is him.
Rough Gallery. What is this Rough Gallery? I keep getting called
Rough
Gallery. It's nothing to do with rubbish rogues. No, I'm hoping to do something big with some flags soon. I'm sorting out the flags. I'm going to have lots of flags coming. I hope for the end of the season to help sort of enhance the supporters a little bit more. So we're trying to get them up to a better standard. And Mother's Day is coming, everybody. So I'll probably do a Morgan Gibbs White. I love you as much as Morgan Gibbs White mum type card and things like that.
Hey, Mark,
or maybe Chris Wood. Maybe a Chris Wood one.
I think
make up for it. I should,
Matt,
well, this present costs more than Chris Wood.
I think Felipe is going to be the one for the ladies now. I think so. You have to get a Felipe poster. Yeah, I think so. With his man bun and his beard. Yeah.
Oh, there we are. Yeah, exactly. Well, there we are. Maybe tells us more about you than anything, but there we go.
People, like I said, I put Matt's link in the description, please. So if you want anything from Matt, link is in the description. So please do. All right, people. Like I said, I've got some content coming up this week. So for the next 5 days. So please watch that as well. Really great show. I'm back. My proper preview show will be West Ham on Friday, I hope, on 9 o'clock. So please watch that. But yeah, it's been a great show. And before you do leave, you can, there's 90 people in. You can do a massive favor. Please do hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And if you watch this, please, like I said, again, at the end, go and watch it. Steve, Rads, and Matt, thank you very much. And I'll see you on Friday for the preview show. Peace and love. Up the Forest.